Tears, my friends. They flow like rivers, sometimes silent and shallow, sometimes raging torrents. Each tear, a tiny droplet of emotion, carries with it a story, a whisper of the human experience. In the grand tapestry of life, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, tears hold a special place. And in the pages of the Bible, these droplets of humanity are gathered, acknowledged, and held up as a testament to the depth of human emotion and the comforting embrace of the divine. Throughout the scriptures, tears are not dismissed as mere weakness, but are recognized as the raw, unfiltered language of the soul. They speak of pain, yes, but also of love, longing, and the unwavering hope that resides even in the darkest of nights. Join me now as we delve into the verses that illuminate the profound significance of tears, revealing the heart of God in the midst of our human experience. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Psalm 56:8. Imagine that for a moment, my friends. A God who sees not just our triumphs and our joys, but who bends down to collect the very tears we shed in our darkest hours. Imagine a God who holds our sorrows as precious. Each tear a testament to the depth of our pain, a reminder of the battles we fight unseen. He doesn't turn away from our vulnerability. He gathers it close. The image of God collecting our tears in a bottle, recording each one in his book, speaks volumes about the tenderness of his love. It tells us that our pain matters to him, that our sorrows are not insignificant or overlooked. Each tear is a sacred drop, a symbol of our shared humanity, and in his infinite compassion, he chooses to keep them close. This verse offers profound comfort, doesn't it? In the midst of our suffering, it's easy to feel alone, as if our cries are lost in the vastness of the universe. But Psalm 56:8 reminds us that we are never truly alone in our grief. God is there, present in our pain, carefully collecting every tear, acknowledging every hurt. He doesn't promise to erase our sorrows overnight, but he does promise to be present within them. He promises to remember, to hold our pain as precious, and to work all things together for our good. So, the next time you find yourself shedding tears of sorrow, remember this verse and let it bring you comfort. Know that even in your darkest hour, you are held in the loving embrace of a God who sees, who cares, and who collects every tear you cry. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. Life, my friends, is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, laughter and tears. There are seasons of sunshine and seasons of storm, and often it's the dark nights that feel the longest. But in Psalm 35, we find a powerful reminder that even in the deepest darkness, hope still flickers. Weeping may endure for a night, the psalmist writes. He acknowledges the reality of pain, the way sorrow can feel all-consuming, like a long, dark night that threatens to swallow us whole. But notice, he doesn't deny the existence of night. He simply reminds us that it doesn't last forever. But joy comes in the morning. There's a promise embedded in these words, an assurance that no matter how long the night, dawn will eventually break. The sun will rise again, scattering the shadows and ushering in a new day. This verse isn't suggesting that our pain is insignificant or that our tears will magically vanish overnight. It simply reminds us that our sorrow, though real and valid, is not the end of the story. There is hope for a brighter tomorrow, a dawn where joy will chase away the shadows of the night. This promise of joy in the morning isn't just about the literal sunrise. It speaks to a deeper truth, a spiritual reality. It reminds us that even in our darkest moments, God is at work, bringing beauty from ashes, turning our mourning into dancing. He is the God of hope, and he promises to make all things new. So if you find yourself in a season of weeping, hold on to this verse. Remember that your tears, though they may last through the night, will not have the final say. Joy is coming, my friends. A new dawn is breaking. Jesus wept. John 11:35, the King James Version. 2 words, my friends, the shortest verse in the entire Bible, yet containing within them a universe of emotion. Jesus wept. In the face of death, in the presence of profound grief, Jesus, the Son of God, allowed tears to flow freely. He stood before the tomb of Lazarus, his dear friend, and he wept. Not tears of frustration or despair, but tears of empathy, of shared sorrow, of deep, abiding love for his friend, and for all those who mourn. This simple act of weeping reveals the depth of Jesus' humanity. It reminds us that he was not some distant deity, untouched by the pain of our world. He was fully God, yes, but also fully human, capable of experiencing the full spectrum of human emotion, even in its rawest forms. In his tears, we see a reflection of our own. We are reminded that it's okay to grieve, to weep, to allow ourselves to feel the weight of sorrow. Our tears don't diminish our faith. They reveal the depth of our humanity, the very humanity that Jesus came to redeem. But there's more to this verse than just permission to grieve. In Jesus' tears, we also see a glimmer of hope. For even as he wept, he knew that death would not have the final say. He was about to call Lazarus forth from the grave, a powerful demonstration of his authority over death itself. So when you find yourself overwhelmed by sorrow, remember the shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. Let those two words remind you that you are not alone in your grief. Jesus weeps with you, offering comfort and understanding in your pain. And even more, he offers hope, a hope that extends beyond the grave, a hope that whispers of resurrection and new life. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Revelation 21:4, the King James Version. Imagine a world without tears, my friends. A world where sorrow and pain are but distant memories, where death no longer holds its sting, and grief has lost its power. This is the glorious promise we find in Revelation 21:4, a vision of a future so breathtakingly beautiful, it almost defies imagination. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, the verse proclaims. Can you picture that moment? God himself, in an act of infinite tenderness, gently wiping away every tear, every trace of sorrow from the eyes of his children. This is not a passive promise, my friends, but an active, personal act of love. God is not content to simply observe our suffering from afar. He steps into our pain, into our brokenness, and with a touch, he wipes away every tear. And it doesn't end there. The verse continues, "And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." In this new heaven and new earth, the very things that cause us to weep, death, sorrow, pain, will be no more. Imagine a world where hospitals stand empty, where cemeteries are no longer needed, where the sound of weeping is replaced by songs of joy. This is the future that awaits us, a future where God himself will dwell among his people, and every tear will be wiped away. This verse is not just a source of comfort for those who grieve, it's a beacon of hope for all humanity. It reminds us that this present world, with all its pain and suffering, is not all there is. There's a day coming when all things will be made new, when the former things will pass away, and God himself will usher in an eternity of joy, peace, and everlasting love. From the depths of despair to the heights of divine comfort, we've journeyed through the tears of the Bible, witnessing the raw vulnerability of humanity met with the unwavering faithfulness of God. We've explored verses that remind us that our tears are never shed in vain, that they are collected and treasured by a God who sees our pain, hears our cries, and offers comfort in our sorrow. May these scriptures serve as a source of strength and solace in your own life, whether you find yourself walking through a valley of tears or dancing upon mountaintops of joy. Remember, you are not alone in your tears, for even Jesus wept. And as we look to the future, let us cling to the promise of Revelation 21:4, a glorious day when God himself will wipe away every tear, and sorrow and pain will be no more. Until then, may we find comfort in his presence, strength in his promises, and hope in the knowledge that our tears are held in the hands of a loving God.